Hello, Jurek Sladkovsky,
Hello.
the director of Bitter Love, one of the films that are part of the program of the Doc Aviv this year. We are here for an online chat because the whole festival this year is being conducted online. We might have some, I can see that we already have some participants listening to our conversation. They will be able to send questions. I'll just repeat it in Hebrew. אם מישהו מהקהל רוצה לשלוח לנו שאלות, אתם יכולים לשלוח לנו שאלות ואנחנו נענה, אני אציג אותם לבמאי ואנחנו נענה במהלך השיחה. Okay, that was the Hebrew bit. And now, first of all, I wanted to say that I enjoyed your film extremely. It was such a surprise because I was familiar with films and TV shows about cruises, similar cruises, but always from an American point of view. And it was so different. I was so surprised. It was like really amazing to see. So, and you told me when we chatted just now that you were actually on such a cruise yourself before you decided to do this film. So maybe you can say a few words about that and about what drew you to this subject.
Well, I mean, the cruise itself was not maybe the most interesting for me, but the situation which people choose just to take risks and try to find a partner. Because when I've been to such a trip for at least a decade, maybe more ago, I can't forget this hit, this emotional hit. I mean, there was a hunt, women and men hunt. I mean, it was day and night, all the time. And of course, the majority just probably they wanted to have a good time, but there were some serious people who just tried to find a partner. And it has this symbolic dimension because Volga is a hero of many songs, books, songs, films. It's romantic, it's nostalgic, it's mysterious. So this is a good environment just to fall in love. So the love is the topic there. But, well, it doesn't happen that often. But the tries are very nice. It's very filmatic. So I was curious how it could be in the film.
How long does such a cruise last?
This one was 3 weeks.
They go on the Volga. The Volga is long enough to last for 3 weeks.
Well, Jesus, Volga is very long. It from Moscow to Astrakhan to the Caspian Sea and back. Mm-hmm. This is what it meant. It was 6,500 kilometers.
And you joined them for the whole 3 weeks?
Yes.
You and your team?
Yeah.
And we already have a question from one of the viewers, but it's a question that I have to admit that rose in my head also when I was watching. How did you manage to get so intimate with your subjects? I mean, it looks like scenes are so intimate that it's very difficult to imagine somebody standing next to them with a camera.
Well, for me, it's natural because I love people generally, or at least I love those people I make films about. I'm not capable to make a film about a person I don't like. And the crew, I chose the crew. It was a long process until I found the right people to work with me. We don't have to talk that much. I mean, we just socialize with the characters, we come closer. It's very often when we film, we are actually filming. And the characters are asking, where do you start? When do you start? When are you going to film? I mean, we're filming already with 1 hour or more. Because this is, we just spend time together, and especially on such a boat, it's a lot of, as you can guess, eating, drinking, having walks, dancing. I mean, having fun very much. There is a bar there. People got drunk. Sometimes we did it too. And this is very much that you just come close to those people, and it's not always that happen, but in this case, we're still in touch. We're still, I mean, talking on Skype, writing emails. We became friends because it's 3 weeks, and they were so, and not all of them, but at least half, six persons. I'm just in touch with them.
How many people? How big was your crew? How many people had cameras on board?
One camera.
Ah, just the one.
No, the choice of photographer was the key issues for me. I mean, it's not just you have to have this attitude, general artistic attitude and personal attitude. Is who you are, what kind of human being, how they treat you. Yes, this photographer is a great photographer, is internationally acknowledged, and he is a very, very nice person, very humble, and he's never making a big noise around him. He's just filming, and some people don't really get it because this is the main basics for this. We're not talking about making the film all the time. We are spending time together. We have this habit that this is a tradition that we put the mics on the characters every morning, long before the shooting. So we never break the take, oh, the sound is not working or something. It's working always because they have the mics on, and the sound technician is very experienced guy, so he knows how to deal with it. So we try not to spoil those tensions, those emotions. It's very personal, and they have to feel that we like them, which we did, and that we are curious about them. And sometimes, I mean, we share our experiences, so they never know what is for the film and what is for us, because they shouldn't. They shouldn't, because this is kind of when they start to think about, okay, we're filming now, that very often they try to play, they try to, to deliver. And when they start to deliver, the credibility is lost.
So you never use any actors, not no. Even use.
I used actors in some films, but it was from the beginning. It was an actor. It was a written text, not just improvising, and it was a feature part in the documentary film. But otherwise, no, because I am curious of this natural part of it. Is what will really happen. I mean, my crew, they know that when I am talking about the film, that always, and then I say, but listen, if all this happens, what I was talking about, it depends that we had a bad luck. Because what I hope for that things will happen in the natural way. And that's why we have to be very humble. It is not distance, but not too close, not too far, just to be ready to get it when it comes.
Does it happen a lot that people, when they spot the camera, try to act for it or, perform better?
I avoid it because I choose the characters. It's not that everybody. I choose. This is the 80% of the time of the production. Yes, of my time, is choosing the characters.
How do you do that? What kind of research goes into such a film?
I will give you an example with this film, because my concept was that we go for such a boat and just stay with them. I thought in the beginning it would be more than 3 weeks, because things start to happen after a week or 2 weeks that never start in the beginning. But then I realized that since there is 300 passengers, 350 passengers on such a boat, So actually, I could take a risk. We could take a risk and just go to this boat and try to, I mean, just to hunt. They would hunt lovers and we would hunt characters, yes. But then I wouldn't feel safe. So I asked my production manager to go for a trip along the Volga River and talk to the companies arranging those cruises. And some people are applying in advance, long in advance. And so they ask if they are ready to talk with the film crew. So the production manager met them. And I mean, after a few months, she just called me and said, listen, I met a couple and they want to go for this trip because they are trying to get married for already 20 years. They didn't succeed. And she said that when they go for this trip, probably it will work. I said, okay, I want to meet them. And when I met them, then they had a friend who was a singer. He is in the film. And I knew that we had, because I didn't really count on having them as main characters in the beginning. But my concept was when I find people who are with me from the first day, so they will be a bridge between me and the passengers. But of some reasons, we just couldn't get much more knowledge about the passengers. I didn't know why, but I learned the first day of the shooting, because when we were shooting the people coming into the boat, I was very not far from losing my conscience because they were older than me. All of them.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them, but those who were shooting and the first shots, it was just old people, very old people. And I asked the producer, what have happened? They say, well, I didn't want to tell you, I just got the news. For a few years ago, Putin decided that all the people working for the FSB, KGB, FSB, military, policemen, they can't go abroad for vacations. They have to spend vacations in the country. So the companies arranging those boat trips, they gave them a discount so they could afford it. So the retired KGB agents with the families were the passenger on this boat. And I probably would try to commit a suicide, but I had those three characters from the beginning. And I was, of course, I was very, very upset. I was on the edge of a breakdown. So I went down to the bar, which works always, and they took one drink and said, and then there is a beautiful couple sitting not far from me. I start talking to them. What are you doing here? We're just hired to sing and play for the passengers. Oh, so they were just, and this is this young couple. You remember this? She's a singer. I mean, it was the gift from Oven. A gift from the upper room. I'm really always hoping for this, and this happened. And they met some other people. So after the first day already, we had a few strong characters, and this woman who is trying to kind of have a relationship with the singer, a very nice person.
The one that walks on the promenade,
yeah,
back, in order to be seen all the time.
Very nice person too. She found us somehow because she was interested in what we were doing. So in 2 days, we had already the group of people whom I knew would give us what we expected. And we just, we didn't shoot that much in the beginning. We were just socializing, eating, having walk, going on the upper deck, on the lower deck, under deck, in the bar, in the restaurant. So it was very much so. So when we start filming, they didn't get it. This is how we work. It works very well because playing God is the worst you can do in the documentary context.
Well, one of the, when you mentioned that you saw so many old people, I was about to tell you that one of the sweetest things about the film is that you can obviously see that this desire for love and for connection, it doesn't die. Even the older people, that's part of their engine.
Definitely, but those old people from KGB, they were forbidden to talk to us.
Oh,
this is the problem.
So yeah, if it was only them, then there was no film.
Because in the end of the cruise, I just used to dine with them sometimes because we became kind of not friends maybe, but you know, as you say, and they were just talking about love and about their stories, but we couldn't get it on tape.
Were there stories, very good stories, that you felt that it was a shame that you couldn't include in the film?
No, I didn't think about it. I was so happy with those characters, and I like them. And I mean, this old woman who is just living in the huge flat in Moscow and having TV in every room and just going shopping, back, making food, eating, watching TV. I mean, this is her life. And having a husband, she didn't talk to this husband for a few years. He's always traveling somewhere to some places. She doesn't know where he goes and why he goes. They don't talk. It's so sad story. And she hoped to find this man, and she found it. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It was, well.
As you said when we chatted before, sometimes people are so determined to find somebody that they invent a character and they just put it on somebody that's there by mistake. Nothing to do with the person.
It's about 80% of all cases.
Not only in cruises, in life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, when the film begins and automatically we fall into the scene about them talking about Chekhov and Anna Karenina and things, I thought, whoa, is it really life in Russia? I mean, you couldn't make up a better script, even if you wanted to invent it.
But listen, there is something which is interesting. I spent in Russia during my stay, when I moved to Sweden, after a few years, and it was 40 years ago, after some years, I started making films in Russia, in northern Siberia. So I visited all this, you know, nobody goes there. And people I met, they're very, very shabby housing. It was just cabins. They were not houses. I don't know. I would never live in this. Full of books. People in Russia used to read books, literature, classical, Russian. Well, they didn't have access very much to the Western, but with the time being, they did. They are reading. They were reading, probably they are still reading much more than we do. But then of course TV and so, but they don't have this access to all the media, especially in the big part of the country. It's an enormous country. I mean, TV is not always accessible there. So they are reading, so they used to read. And this was very interesting because I was sitting with the hunters, hooligans, which are drunkards and womanizers and hunters and, you know, prisoners or something. And we were talking about Chekhov. So I just wanted, I am a great fan of Chekhov, Anton Chekhov, and this atmosphere. So I wanted just to come closer to it. Probably there is a hope that I will make another film in Russia, which will be even closer to Chekhov.
What, can you tell us something about it?
No. I never talk about films which I didn't.
Pretty please? No?
Sorry?
I said pretty please.
no, I can't. But of course, when the film will be ready, I will just find you.
We hope that you could come with this film to Tel Aviv next time.
Well, I hope too. I hope to. I have a great memory from the latest stay, but I was it was in the middle of the night. I was going back to the hotel, this main street, and of some reasons, I don't know, there was a bar, and I just went in, and I just wanted to see the people. My plan was to go back to the hotel, and the bartender looks at me. You look like a man who needs a shot. So how do you know? I mean, I'm a bartender, he says. So he gave me a shot, and I took this shot, and then I hear, I just, well, to make a joke, I said in Polish, dziękuję, thank you. And there were two guys, well, a few meters on the right side, and say, Polish? Are you Polish? We were partying till 7 o'clock in the morning. And it was a dancing and singing and quarreling and no fight, but it was not far from that. I just can't forget it. It was because, you know, we're so close, Poles and Jews. We have the story, which is untold, and they were from Poland. They spoke better Polish than Jewish. They were Polish. So I will never forget it, because it happens just, I mean, in Israel. Yeah. This kind of, because it was just enormous. It was a big party. It was huge. A lot of people, and the dancers, even on the table.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Just to go back to your film for a minute. There were not only people who were coming on this cruise to find love, there were also couples. And especially this couple that keeps rowing about the beard, if he's going to take off his beard or not. But yeah. there are, what kind of people go on this cruise, apart from those looking for a partner? I mean,
no, I mean,
is it very expensive? Is it?
No, it's not. It's not so expensive. It used to be before, but it's not that expensive, and there are different cruises. This was long. This was maybe more expensive. But basically, there are summer cruises. A lot of youngsters used to go for it. And it is not very, I mean, this is cheaper than to go abroad.
Mm-hmm. And when you were following them or living with them for 3 weeks, were there any, I assume that you filmed much more than you actually used eventually, but were there any stories that you really decided not to put in the film, but, you know, were very good and you can share with us? Or character that you had to give up when you were editing?
Well, there was one story which was really, I mean, especially concerning the fact that it reminds me of some ancient Greek myth. There was I met this couple. I mean, they were extremely good looking, both of them, and they were different. They were different. They were not socializing that much. They were well grown up. I think that they were both, especially he was definitely my age, 75, 70s, maybe even more. And she was approaching 70. Beautiful couple. And they had a great story. They met and fall in love when they were young. and they spent some time together, and then for some reasons he had to go, probably it was because of the army or something, he was moved to another place, and then she moved to another place. So they just lost the contact. And when they met again, they had already stories which to some extent made this, reunion impossible. But every year,
they meet on
they
the
went
spot.
for this, yes, they went for this cruise.
This is
every
a top story.
Yeah, but they didn't want to share it with us.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, of
Probably
course, and I had to respect it. But this was, this was the top of the tops, because shit happens. This kind of things happen.
Your film was so heartwarming that it even made a cynic person like me believe in love again.
but be careful.
Almost, yeah.
We have an essay which is Polish, but I translate it to English. Love, death, and diarrhea come unannounced.
Love, death, and
diarrhea.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Unannounced.
We have only 2 minutes, so one of our I'll ignore this remark.
But because it's funny, because when I'm very, very interested in messages, I always want to have a message in the film. A film with the message is not worth a thing. And there was so funny, because I had a meeting with students, and I was just, they said, what is the message? And I said this, love. And I said, well, it is funny, but where is the message? Well, the message is that as long as the boat goes, there is a hope.
Yeah. Did any of the participants got to see the film already?
Everybody.
And what were the reactions?
Well, they were happy. They were very afraid of, because we were shooting not so much more. I am not the guy who is coming with 2 tones of no, I just, when we shoot, there is a reason to shoot. We don't just take chances. I am going around, I am listening to them, I'm in motion. And we don't speak that much during the shooting. I never correct the photographer when he's having a take or something, because he knows what we're looking for and what we expect to get. So this looks, people sometimes ask, who is the director? It means that I did my job.
Did you do your job well, yeah. When are you going yourself on another cruise?
Well, it's not that easy, because I quit 2 productions due to the corona, of course. And now I am just preparing a film in Poland, because they just convinced me, my friends here and my producer, that I should make a film about Poland, which is dramatically divided into, torn into pieces right now, and to find something good about it, something positive. And this is not positive, the Poland is not positive, but the people I want to. You disappeared. Hello. Hello.
You're still here?
I am here, but you just, they froze you. Froze you.
No, it was the internet connection probably froze, yeah. But so just finish what you were saying about, you had 2 productions that you're still that you had to drop, and then you're doing something in Poland. And when will you have time to go on a cruise?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I will go definitely. But you know, there are other rivers, and there's a fascinating river. I've been to all of them, excluding Lena, because Lena is the biggest, the longest, but it's so unpredictable that it's impossible to just, you know.
Like love and
yeah.
the rest of the things.
Oh yes.
Unpredictable,
yes.
yeah.
But Lena is unpredictable. It's wild, mighty, unpredictable, and beautiful as hell. Lena's delta is bigger than, I mean, half of Sweden. It's enormous. Mm-hmm. It's delta. It's thousands of small rivers heading to the sea. And the level of water in the Siberian rivers, in some places, they differ from the lowest to highest 12 meters. Mm-hmm. 12 meters. So this is really, and of course, I've been on Lena a few times. I would like to see it again. And Yenisei is a beautiful river, extremely beautiful, violent. Yes.
So I wish you a lot of luck, and maybe with the next film that you didn't tell us anything about, we hope to see it in Tel Aviv.
Well,
after
I
this
hope too. I hope it,
yeah.
I hope it too.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, and good luck with the festival, and I hope that the best film will win and the author will enjoy it.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.